One of the things that I have noticed when I see a client in my chair who has box dyed their hair a lot is how inky the pigment can become on the hair, and also how damaged the hair gets over time. Now, why? Why is that? The way that box dye works is that it has to cater to the most challenging hair to color. Because box dye cannot be mixed according to the client's needs, the formula has to work for the most challenging client. That is a client who has resistant hair, has a lot of gray coverage needs, etc. How do we get a formula to work for really hard to cover resistant hair? We have to up the level of developer, which basically means that we use a higher volume of developer, which is hydrogen peroxide. The higher volume of hydrogen peroxide basically pushes that cuticle open and gets the color molecules into the cortex of the hair. However, when we up the developer to say 30 or 40 volume, we are creating a stronger, more potent formula that can lead to dry and damaged hair, and hair that has that really inky quality to it. If you want to learn a little bit more about that and exactly how it works, I'm going to leave a link here to a video that I did all about that, and I'm also going to leave it in the pinned comment below. So if you watch this video, you find that really interesting, go and check out that next video because it's going to really allow you to understand box dye a lot better. So what if you are someone who wants to box dye your hair every 6 weeks because you have gray, you don't want to go to the salon for whatever reason, and I'm not here to judge you, I'm not here to have to know why you don't want to go to the salon. I am just here to help you. I am your hairdresser best friend, and I am here to help you get the hair results that you want from home. So how do you get around this? How do you get around the high developer level box dye situation? How do you get around not getting an inky quality in the hair? How do you get around not having a lot of dry and damaged hair over time if you can't mix your own formulation? If you don't have control over the formula, how can you still use these products, still get great hair results, and not really damage your hair over time? I have found a solution for you, and today I'm going to explain and demo exactly how you can do it, and I'm also going to give you some real hairdresser tips and tricks to get the best out of your application technique as well. Let's go. The first thing we're going to talk about is finding your color. My model today and my client Nykkie decided a few months ago that she really wanted to change and dyed her hair black with box dye. Her natural hair is a medium level brown, as you can see from the grow out, and she has no gray yet. After Nykkie agreed to be my model today, I headed over to Walmart to find a color for her, and I immediately started looking at the Root Touch-Up colors. As soon as I saw this Root Touch-Up color, I knew that this one would work for sure, and I actually reached for it and went to pay for it. But then I looked at the size of the developer and the size of the color, and I stopped. Now, the developer and the color in this box is tiny, and the reason it's tiny is because it's marketed as a Root Touch-Up color, so you don't need a lot of it. However, it's not cheaper. Actually, it's more expensive than many of the other box dyes. It's going to have the same formulation. They're not going to be formulated differently because one is for roots and one is for roots to ends. So this box dye for Root Touch-Up is just a miniaturized version of this other box dye here, but it is marketed as a Root Touch-Up, so you're more attracted to get it when you're just looking for Root Touch-Up coverage. But it is pretty expensive. It's about $11. Now, if I was going to do a Root Touch-Up on my hair, because I have such thin, fine hair, I think one box would likely be enough, but Nykkie has extremely thick, dense hair. So her individual strands are thick, but she also has a lot of density. So a lot of hair on each square inch of scalp. So when I am painting that root color on, I knew for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that this $11 box dye, I would need at least 3 of them. With tax, after I did the math, 3 of those boxes would cost me about $40. If you are doing a Root Touch-Up and you have a lot of hair, don't get sucked into these Root Touch-Up boxes because the other ones will do the same. It's going to save you a lot of money in the end. That's when I moved over to Garnier Nutrice, which is bigger and much more affordable at $8.47, and it's going to work the exact same way. I can definitely do her entire head of roots here with just 1 box. Now let's talk about color, because I think when you guys are choosing box dyes, according to what I read in the comment section below in the other videos, you're getting a little overwhelmed overwhelmed with the color choices, and I can understand why. It's very overwhelming if you haven't been trained in it. Color ranges from level 1 to level 10. Level 1 is the darkest color you can be. It's the blackest black, and level 10 is the lightest color that you can be. It's the palest blonde, and then you have all of the shades in between. Now at each level, level 1 through 10, you can be different tones. So you could be a cool tone, which we call ash in the hair world, or you could be a warm tone, which we call gold or copper in the hair world, or you could be a neutral tone, which isn't cool and it isn't warm, it's just neutral. Box dye is no different from professional color when it comes to levels and tones. If you look here at the black options, you will see the first number, which represents the hair level, how light or dark it is. And the second number will represent the tone. And then you have a description which will help you decipher what that second number means. I chose this one for Nykkie, and it's a 2-0, and this is why. A level 1 is the blackest black hair you can have, and it doesn't even really look natural. It's so black that it doesn't have any softness to it. It really is quite intense. That color can look amazing on a lot of people, but it can also look very harsh on a lot of people. So I wanted to keep Nykkie's hair black. I think it looks great black, but I wanted it to be a softer black. So that's why I moved up to a level 2. Anywhere from a 1 to a 3, you're gonna get a black. The lower the number, the stronger the pigment. So a 2 was like a happy medium in my opinion. Of the level 2 blacks that I found in this color line, it was between a soft black or a blue black. And again, because I want it to be softer and to not look like a fashion color and to not be harsh, I chose the 2-0, which is a natural soft black. Let's get into the application of it. When you are mixing your color, make sure to always read and follow the instructions on the box exactly. I've been playing with a lot of box color lately, and many have different instructions, so it's important to follow closely. Here's a little tip for you. If you do not have very dense hair and you have fine hair, you can buy this box and you can use it for multiple applications if you do not pre-mix. So the way that permanent color works is it's equal parts developer to equal parts color. So if you buy yourself a color bowl that has measurements on it, all you have to do is pour your developer, say 20 milliliters of developer, and then put in your tube of color, another 20 milliliters, so that you get to the 40 milliliter line. Mix it up and apply it. Then what you can do is you can put the cap back on your developer, put the cap back on your color, put it away, and as long as it's not pre-mixed, they are in their individual bottles, then you can reuse it next time you want. But you cannot pre-mix it. I don't know how many times I have to say that. As soon as you pre-mix it, the developer starts working and then it becomes ineffective. So you can't mix it all up and then save it. It will not work. It will not cover the hair. When applying a root color, what you want to do is always start at the front of the head, because that is what you see first, and also likely where you have the most amount of gray if you have gray. You want the maximum amount of coverage there, so you're going to start there. After you've painted the entire section by the face, you can split the hair into 4 parts. I paint the part line in each section as an easy way to keep the sections separated. Starting at the front, I paint the root until I get to the demarcation line where it has been colored before, and then I stop. Make sure to saturate both the top and the bottom while moving down 1/2 inch to 1 inch sections depending on how thick the hair is. The key is to get the root completely saturated so there are no dry zones at all. I work my way around the entire head, doing the front first and then the back, and then I let it process for the amount of time that it says in the instructions. Gray coverage takes longer to process than non-gray coverage, so make sure to read the instructions and follow what is needed for your hair. Do not leave it on longer than it says. Now what I did after that is I rinsed the hair completely until the water came out clear, and I did a double shampoo. Now this is where it gets good. Now if you are someone that is repeatedly doing your roots and your ends because you want the whole thing to be even and really nice, this is where you're going to run into damage and inky problems. Doing one box dye is not going to do any damage. It's going to be fine because you're only using that high level of developer on the virgin hair. Repeatedly doing it over time is where you're going to get your damage. But how do you do your roots and still get a really nice mid shaft and end if you don't pull it through the entire thing? I have found a solution for you that's going to work great if you have brown hair, even blonde hair. There's even blonde hair options. What you are going to do after you shampoo those roots out and your hair is wet, you are going to grab yourself a glossing treatment. So this comes in a tube and it gets applied directly on damp hair, left on for 20 minutes. Because it has no developer, it has no damage. Like, this will not damage your hair because it is a stain. Direct dye deposit color is a stain, so it's going to stain the outermost layer of the hair, which is the cuticle layer, and provide a really conditioning effect and loads and loads and loads of shine. This is an awesome product for refreshing mid shafts and ends. Now, you might wonder when you see the bottle that it looks brown. How can this work on black hair if it's brown? When it comes to color, you have to get smart and creative about it. This is called a cool brunette, and it's a brass neutralizing formula. So what this is intended to do is deepen up and remove warmth from brown hair. If you look at the box and you look at the starting points of the hair, you can have light brown hair to use this, you can have dark brown hair to use this, and you can have black hair to use this. So don't look here and think, I can't use this. Look at your starting chart. Your starting chart is going to tell you what effect this is going to have on the hair. This isn't going to dye your hair brown. What this is going to do is it's going to remove red pigment. It's going to create a deeper, more ashy, shinier effect in the hair. And this is what we are left with. As you can see, we have full coverage of the roots. There is no demarcation line, and the mid shafts and ends are not inky and dry at all. They are actually incredibly shiny, super soft, and healthy. I hope that I was able to help you guys out. If you are doing solid colors on your hair and you want to do solid colors on your hair from home, the biggest piece of advice that I can give you as a stylist is to do your roots with your permanent color. Leave it on, let it process, shampoo it out, and then when your hair is damp, tone the rest with a color that is the same or complementary to it. This combination is what we do in the salon. When we are doing permanent colors in the salon for great coverage, we always do the roots, and then we do a toner through the mid shafts and ends so that you don't end up with that huge buildup of color, all that really dry, inky tone at the bottom. This is gonna save you from all of that. You're gonna get your roots covered, you're gonna get great coverage, you're gonna get the color that you want, but you're also gonna get the shine and that condition through the mid shafts and ends. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I love reading those and helping you get the best hair of your life. I'll see you next week. Bye.